Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to cover Vue components, and this is a tutorial that I got got an idea from Jeffrey Way, and it's not really got an idea, I copied it from Jeffrey Way's tutorial, except that Jeffrey was using a Bulma CSS framework, which was making the tutorial a little bit more difficult. So I stripped that out and I changed a little bits of the code to just make code readability better for myself. So I just made some minor changes. It's a different version from Jeffrey's tutorial, but I will link down. I'll put a link down to Jeffrey's original tutorial on laracast.com so that you can go check out his tutorial as well. It's very similar. I just would have liked this version better for myself, so that's the only reason I'm making my own version of this tutorial. So without further ado, this tutorial is really basic. It's a tab system. As you can see, if you compare it to Jeffrey's Laravel version, Jeffrey's version on Laracast, it's very simple. It doesn't look that good, and that's the whole point, is to make learning Vue.js easier without the bulky CSS framework that make it look nice. But if you're only learning Vue.js, it's actually more difficult. So if you click on the different item tabs, it changes the values, and that's simply what we're creating. So let's get right into it. So here we have a blank tab, and the first thing I'm going to do is create a index, and I'm going to import the script for the Vue.js. So copy that there. Change the title to Tabs tutorial using Vue.js components. Next, we want to create a container and then a application div and a script for typing in our Vue.js at the bottom. So I'm going to first type in new Vue, and that's going to equal to element application semicolon. I think semicolons are unnecessary, but I'm just going to use that anyways. And next we want to populate our tabs data, which is going to be tabs tab times 4, then it's going to be h1 plus paragraph lorem. Okay, so there you go. So we have our tabs created, and if we go back to our page, we should get an error. So if I go, so that's what we see here, and if I go inspect element, then I bring this up, console view, tabs and tab are not registered. So let's go do that. Let's make the tabs components. So up here, we're going to first create Vue component tabs and template tabs, and then next actually create the X template. So we go script type X template and ID template tabs. So here let's create one root element, div, and we're going to say div, this is where the nav menu goes, and down here we're going to say this is where the individual tab details goes. So if we go back to our page, refresh, we see this is where the nav menu goes and this is where the tab menu details goes. And let's if we go to Vue, we see tabs, but we don't see any of the tab sub childs. So let's make the child tabs show up, and to do that we're going to use slot. So we're simply going to go here and go slot, and that's going to import whatever is inside tabs, which is the tab child siblings, and it's going to make that appear on the page. So if we refresh, tab, actually we don't see it. So let's go, if we go to console, now tab is being registered. It's hitting the script, JavaScript, but it's not defined. So now we have to define the tab variable. So let's go to, whoops. So let's go down to View, Component, and let's go tab, and then template, same thing, template tab with no S. So let's go up and create a next template again. So script, type, X template, ID is template tab. So here we want to say div, this is where the tab, individual tab content goes. Now if we refresh the page, this is where the individual tab content goes. Now we don't want that to appear, we want the actual tab to appear. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete this and we're going to say slot, which is going to import the values directly here. So now let's actually add in the h1 tag. So heading for tab 1, 2 tabs, roses, red. Ocean is blue. Final tab in the sky. So there you go. Now we have everything showing up. So we go to tabs here. Now we have all these tabs showing up. Now we want the tab menu to show up. So let's first go down to our template tabs, and instead of saying this is where individual tab details goes, we already have that showing. So let's delete this. And just to make things clear, I'm going to, as an example, just delete this slot here. That means the tab component is not going to get registered. So if I delete that and go back here, nothing's going to show again. So you have to have the slot there to make sure that whatever is inside tabs, which is tab components, has to be registered to the code. So so that has to be compiled. So next, let's see what we have to do next. So next, if we refresh the page, we see the tab details. Now let's make the menu. So to make the menu, let's go back, and instead of this is where the nav menu goes, let's actually create the menu. So let's go ul list A. So here we're going to just remove the href, and the reason why we're doing that is because there is another way that you should be doing it. Jeffrey covers it in his tutorial, but I'm just making it simple. I don't want to go with computer properties of href. I'm skipping that part because I want to keep this tutorial as basic as possible, as beginner, newbie friendly as possible. So I'm skipping that part. The reason I'm taking out the href is because it removes the page reload feature once you click on a link. So I could technically use a span tag as well, but just out of simplicity, I'm using a link tag, and I'm just taking out the href. So this is a really bad way of doing it, but I'm just doing it for a code demonstration. So and the reason why we want to remove the page reload refresh feature is because we want the tabs to change to the next tab page, and that registers on the loaded variable in the instance of Vue.js, but the Vue.js instance will get refreshed or re-rendered if you refresh or reload the page. So we want to remove the refreshing or reloading feature of the page. That's why I'm removing the href link here. So here, let's go, let's say link example. If we go back, refresh the page, we have 1, but we have 4 tabs. So how do we make this link example show 4 times? So what we have to do is we have to assign a, so if you go back, go to view, we have tabs, and we have 4 values. So we want to create an array that contains the values for the 4 tabs. So to do that, we're going to go to tabs, and here we're going to create a data object. So data return, and we're going to create nav items array. Create it like that. And then we're going to say when the Vue.js instance is mounted, we want to say this nav items array is equal to this children. So that's going to add all the tab components, all of these 4 tab components to the tabs array. So if we refresh the page, we have 4 arrays here. So if we don't do this, if we don't have mounted, we exit out, refresh the page. If we go down here, we have array is equal to 0. So it creates the array, but nothing's added into it. So that means the array is blank. So we create the mounted. Once mounted, we want this nav items array is equal to this children, which is going to be 4 components. So if we refresh the page again, tabs, there you go. We have item array 4. So next, we want to create a for each. So we want to display the tab name. So let's say we want to say something like for each tab in what was it? Nav items array is equal to tab name, something like that. And instead of going like tab, I'm going to say menu item, menu item, and instead of for each, which is not the proper syntax, the proper syntax is v4. So we want to go like this. So let's just make sure it's the correct syntax. So for menu item in nav items array, we want to say menu item name, but we don't have a menu item name defined. So if we go back here, refresh the page, console, nothing shows. It shows 4 times. The list shows 4 times, so the loop is running properly, but the view name is not defined because if we go down here, tab, there's no name variables here. So if we go to VM0 here, VM0 name is undefined. So let's make a property under tab that says name is defined. So let's go prop, and just gonna check the correct syntax. I'm not doing this from memory, guys. I have a screen next to me that shows all the code. So so props is equal to name required is true. So now we have to actually define the names up here. So name of the tab name is going to be tab1. Let's go name second tab musketeers, name 3 trio, name build the matrix. So now if we go back to our Chrome dev and refresh the page, go to view tab, we have name tab1, name second tab musketeers, name 3 trio, name build a matrix. So now we can actually, now the names actually appear. So that's really great. So we have the 4 menu items list appearing, and if you want to create more, you can obviously create more as well. What I'm going to do next is I want to highlight the one that's selected. So I'm going to say, as an example, I'm just going to randomly say, let's build a matrix is the one that's default selected when you refresh the page. So let's go down here and under tab next to name matrix, let's give it a selected class or a selected property of true. So it's going to be a property of selected as true. So if we go back here, refresh the page, the last one actually it doesn't show here. So next we have to go back down here, and after name we want to go selected is default false. So if we go back here, refresh the page, tab selected false, Selected false, selected false. Last one is selected true because we defined it as true. Now we want to, I'm going to make a mistake on purpose, and then I'm going to show you the correct way of doing it. So what I want to do is I want to give, let's say, when the selected item is true. So here, when the selected item is true, I wanted to say, let's first give it a style. So let's create a style of bold. So selected, class of selected menu item is going to have a font weight of bold. So selected menu item is going to be, so if we say, if we give it a class of selected menu item here, and if we go back, refresh the page, all of them are selected. So we want to selectively select the one that has a class of is active. So let's say the correct syntax for doing that is just going to go to my left here. We have to vbind class. So vbind class, and then inside parentheses, we want to go selected menu, I believe it was selected menu item. So we want to give it a class of selected menu item if menu item is active is true. So we want to define is active as a variable. So let's go down here and let's say, let's say if selected is true. So let's say selected is true. Let's go like that and refresh the page. So if we go back here, console log. So if we so here, depending on if, because menu item selected is true for the last one and false for all the other ones, the last one is bolded. So that's how you do that selected. But in a moment, I'm going to show you why this is wrong, and well, it's not wrong, but why this is not right for the next functionality we want to create in this, which is we want to click something and we want it to change the selected tab item. So we want to click tab 1 and want tab 1 to become bold. So let's do that. So to do that, we want to go to the link tag, and let's go add click and add click, select tab, or select menu item. Let's go select tab. Let's go select tab, select menu item, and then we want to pass along the object of the menu item that's being selected. So let's say it's menu item here. So what we want to do is go down to and this is a template tabs component. So we want to go to template tabs component and add a method here. So we go method or methods, and then we go select, I think it was select menu item, select menu item, past menu item object, and let's say if we go alert past menu item object's name, and if we go back, refresh the page, we can go with tab 1 and it says tab 1, 3 trio, it says 3 trio. So that's how we determine that the name is correct. Now let's what we want to do is we want to select the we want to select this nav items array. This might be wrong. This nav items array is active is equal to true. So let's try this. Go back here, refresh the page. No, that's not right. So selected false, selected false, selected false. Console. So this nav items array is active, true. So we want to say past item object is active is true. So we want, oh, actually we haven't created the is active variable. So what I was going to demonstrate was the wrong method. So let's go selected is equal to true. So if we go back and refresh the page and we click on it, it opens up. But on the bottom here it says avoid mutating a prop directly since the value will be overwritten whenever the parent component re-renders. Instead use a data or computer property based on the prop's value, prop being mutated selected. So mutating means a property shouldn't be changed, its state shouldn't be changed. So in order to create a changeable variable, which is going to change the active class, we want to create a data or a computer property. In this case, we're going to create a data property. So how we're going to do that is we're going to move down to tabs, and down next to props, we're going to create data, and then return is active, or let's say, is active false. So that's going to create a third variable here. So if we go back, refresh the page, go to view, and go to tab, there's is active and selected false. So is active, selected false, is active, selected false. And the last one, which is the last one here, build the matrix, is selected true and is active is false because we gave the is active false value a false value. But we want that to be true, right? We want it to be same as the selected value when the instance variables are loaded. So how we do that is on mounted. Once the variables are all mounted, we want to say this is active is equal to this selected. So now if we go back to our page, refresh, and you go to the last one, it says is active is true, and all the ones are other false, false, false. So now that we have that available, instead of using here selected for the class, we want to say menu is active. If is active is true, we want it to load as the selected menu item. So if we refresh the page, that still works because is active is the same as selected. So so there's no change there. And now if we go add click, select menu item, and then menu item here, selected menu item, we want this, instead of being true, we want it to if we wanted to pass through all the variables of the nav items array, and if the object of nav items array that's being passed is the same as the passed menu item object, we want the is active to be true. So is active to be true. So let's say we have to do a for each loop here. So we go this nav items array, and for each with a capital E, and we go, let's say item and then arrow. This is the syntax for Vue.js for each in methods. And then we go this, then we go item is active is going to equal to if the objects are the same. So if passed menu item object, well, let's do this one first. Let's do the item object is the same as the passed item object, passed menu item object. So if they are the same, we want item is active for this particular for each for item to be true. So if we go back here, refresh the page, click, 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 click. Now the bold transfers over to the one that's correctly selected. And the last part we want to do is want to only show the page or the portion of the div tab or the portion of the tab that's being selected. So to do that is very simple. We go to the tab X template under the div, under the parent div for this one. We go v show whoops, v show, and that is going to be equal to is active. So now if we go back and refresh the page, only the one that's selected shows. Now we go select. So basically, the only ones that are selected are the ones that are going to be visible. So that's how you create a very simple tab-based system in Vue.js using Vue.js components, using methods and scripts, X-templates, etc., etc. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Tell me what you guys want to learn next about Vue.js. I will be probably creating another Vue.js tutorial, and then I will be moving back to a Laravel advanced tutorial and then a combined tutorial of Laravel and Vue.js. So let me know what you guys want to know about Vue.js and maybe Laravel, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.